Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last ever, no, the last for this season recap for American Gods. My name's Tom, as with me, as always, is my buddy Cal.
Hello, hello.
The creator himself, who, by the way, if you're a fan of wrestling and you haven't checked it out yet, check out Aftermath. It's the show he, Eric, and Delisha do together. More so Delisha lately. Come on, Eric.
Yeah,
No,
what's
but,
going on, man? The Hitman has been
come on.
traveling.
He's like Stannis, just off screen.
Yeah, I know.
So check it out. Anyway, real quick, hello to everyone in the chat. Michelle, Eric, Ashley, Joe, Corey, I saw there in there. Tina, who says hello.
Hello. Michelle, I don't know
Yeah,
if you said that.
Yeah, we could both say it. It's fine.
Hello.
Even Kimber is gonna.
Kimber.
But yeah, so we're here to talk about Laura lost me. Okay, guys, let's calm down. We'll get into Laura. This isn't the Laura episode. That was was it last week? Yeah. No, that's Sweeney. Oh my god. That was just the Emily Browning episode. Okay. So overall, I mean, we can get into the season kind of to close up. I know me and Kimber are planning on doing a review for the season as a whole. But how did you feel about this episode?
I really felt like nothing happened this episode. Like, I mean, we did get some revelation, and like I think it was more of a humorous episode than anything. There's a lot of comedy in it and some decent moments towards the end. I really liked it. We'll get to that in a little bit, but the encounter at the end, I love those faceless guys and their choreography and all that kind of stuff. And media.
That's actually some of the pieces that lost me.
But, I mean, I like that kind of stuff. I like dance, so I like that. But
Kimber made the joke that they're America's next dance crew. But I forgot my notebook, so let me go grab it real quick.
But like I know we talked about this on text, and a bunch of us were talking about it on Twitter that we felt the season kind of been dragged out a lot. It moved really slow because, like you guys were saying, they're trying to make one book into 3 seasons, so they kind of slow everything down. So I felt like, you know, it was really slow and dragged out, and nothing really as a season really happened that much. But I guess it was kind of like the opening act where they're introducing the characters and kind of getting a small plot point in, you know, like what's going to happen throughout, like for the rest of the story, but not revealing the main meat of it yet. Kind of the for the top layer of the sandwich.
Yeah, simply because they're going to be eventually running out of stuff to do. I expect next season to be much more like this last episode we got. But I mean, if you guys been watching the show, I've been preaching this whole time that the reason I was excited for this is because of the way Brian Fuller layers like visualizations in the real world. And we got a bit of that with the interrogation scene with Mr. World, and I think they did a really good job in this episode, especially with the Wednesday reveal. With doing that like layered.
Yep.
Like the veil finally got lifted. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what you were wanting to see. Like the last few episodes, you're talking about wanting to see that being like the God's real aspect being shown and stuff like that, or at least some like facade of it, or kind of thing.
Exactly, Eric Hannibal. That's what I was that because the way they do the Wendigo on that show is amazing. But all right, so let's get right into it. We open with a closet with spiders in it, I guess. It's a tailor shop, but I thought it was a closet at first. And of course, Anansi is a tailor because he weaves stories as well as silks and other threads. And what did you think about this overall story scene? Well, first off, let's focus on Anansi. How did you like him in this compared to when we got to see him in the past?
I mean, I still like the way he tells stories. I like how Orlando Jones portrays him. I like the smooth talker kind of thing, and like he's got to get that story out. I really like that all the spiders like weaving and stuff. I thought that was really like the scene was well done, beautifully done. I just wondered how they got there and how they all got like I guess they showered and everything, but they were pretty cleaned up, and it was just like I like the storytelling. I liked it. I didn't like the story, but I liked the storytelling.
It did feel like there was an episode missing, and there kind of was because we didn't get to see them for a whole episode. I wonder if that's kind of a joke. They'd be like, "Oh, you wonder what Shadow and Odin we can say from the rooftops now." Like we're never gonna see what happened. I don't know. I think comparing it to where we saw him at first, I felt a lot better about it because this felt like a real introduction to him. Him weaving thread as he's weaving stories seemed very appropriate. And he felt of the now, and he had more of those like kind of mixed match patterns going. So I definitely felt like this was closer imagined. But he's talking about Bilquis, the Temple of Beran, in 864 BC, and it's pretty cool. It's just explaining how like Bilquis was. We've seen her before. She's the pleasure dimension. We see her with all these like orgy worshippers, and she seems to get power off of how much they're into the whole thing. And it reminded me a lot of the Zion scenes from The Matrix. But what was cool was that there was like a lot of different representation within the orgy, which kind of I don't know, says a lot for back all the way back in the day before it seemed to be important.
I was just saying, for talking about the series, the scene, like I really don't like Bilquis' story. It's not I don't dislike it either. I just don't find any interest. I'm very ambivalent, like indifferent. I should say indifferent towards it. Like I didn't really care much for her in the premiere, and I didn't really care much. I mean, I like that they're showing her story, but I'm not really a fan of her story. I did enjoy like the ancient aspect of it, seeing her history. I always like seeing those like origin kind. It wasn't really an origin, but like I like seeing that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I wasn't really a fan of her story at all. I'm guessing she has a big part coming up because the way it played out throughout the episode, but I wasn't a fan. I know I'm gonna get some hate in the chat for it, but I really like Laura a lot better than Bilquis. I don't know her story and
well, there were problems because Bilquis was just as we pretty much met her, and there were some cool things that they showed her about us in this episode, which is new material, which I'm fine with. And then there's some kind of, I feel like, cop outs. Like, all right, when we see her first time, we see that cool bone horn dude, and I'm like, I want to know who he is, like specifically, because I wish they name drop Solomon or something like that, because that's who she's actually married to in like back in the day versus. But I thought the weird digital into prosthetic, like him having like this, I thought that was really interesting design, and then
thing. Like the crown.
Yeah, and that's when they do. I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna get closer to like the visualization aspects of it. But I don't like, and that if we had if he had a name and it was a specific person, he was like, and he was after her power. I'm like, okay, I can buy that. But they didn't give her a real villain. Like when the Disco Queen stuff. Like I thought the music during it was really cool. It seemed like it was a newish song, but it felt like it should have been in that period, which doesn't date it. But then like those guys came in with guns for no reason. I was like, well, men will always oppress women when they are strong, which I'm not arguing that. But I wish they just did more than just give men guns and have them run into a building and not give me any explanation.
Right. So what was happening? Was that her club?
I don't know.
That's like I was so lost in that scene because it said like she found ways of like in the narrative they saying like she found ways to like move like alter the way her power is used, kind of like, so like now she has a club where she can like bring people in and then find different people every night or whatever and stuff like that. But then like I guess these guys came in and saw her as a threat. I don't know why. Like I was so confused.
That makes more sense, but again, that doesn't feel like it's American. It felt like it was. They were supposed to be terrorists. Okay, so was it a club that wasn't in America? That was in a different... The Iran Revolution stuff? Oh, okay. So they were in Iran. Okay. See, I thought she was in America doing the disco stuff.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It was the 70s. I think it said 1973 or something like that when it showed it.
It was 79.
Okay, yeah. So I guess, yeah.
But then we see that after that, it's 2013. She's homeless. She's obviously like corrupted because it looks like she has like pox and like different cysts on her face and stuff like that. And Technology Boy shows up, and we find out that Sheba's been working, or Bilquis has been working with Technology Boy this whole time, which makes sense because we saw her working with the phone in the beginning.
Well, that's when. No, isn't that when he gives her the phone? That's when he sees her on the street.
This is right now. Technology Boy. Sheba is the app. Cool.
Yeah, but it was like showing you backstory, so you were right with what you were saying.
Oh yeah,
that's like before the rest of the show was taking place.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is a flashback for sure. This isn't where she's at now, but we do catch up with her later. And then so we find out the moral of the story is get yourself a queen. And I wrote down, I think Shadow is pissed because he told me he was pissed about what, 6 times? I'm pissed.
Still didn't believe him now.
Yeah, well, there's problems. And then all of a sudden we cut. The editing in this episode was a little weird, but I can't focus in on everything that I didn't like. But we cut to. Oh, so they decide they're gonna go get a queen. If you haven't noticed, my notes have become slimmer and slimmer throughout these episodes because I'm starting to lose a little interest. But he wakes up in his dream once they're going to get a queen. He wakes up in a dream, and we know he's in the Bone Orchard, but I just thought it was Judgment Day from Terminator. And we see the buffalo, and nothing happens again, and he wakes up. And then the rabbits were super cute when they entered the thing. And I wrote down, oh my God, led in by rabbits, how cute. And then Wednesday just was like, I'm going to kill him.
And he runs over, yeah. I liked Shadow's reaction a lot when he's like, I love Easter. Like when he got to the actual place and looks around, he had a smile on his face, which we didn't really see a lot this season until the finale.
Yeah, when they got, I think that was the first time Kimmer mentioned this, like that he looked like he was swooning. Like when he was talking to Ostara, like he actually looked like he was like, well, she even said he's a blusher. And she said something else that I thought was cool, but I'll bring that up next season. So we get an explanation that Easter's real name is Ostara. She's a goddess who is worshipped on the spring equinox, or not? It's like
the vernal equinox, I think.
Vernal, that's what it is. Yes, equinox, and she's adapted to the times because people still celebrate her pagan holiday. So for those who's not familiar with Ostara from like legend, they pretty much nail it in this. She is associated with sweets and rabbits and sacrifice. What's really cool is there is some speculation that she's related or is the Norse goddess Figra, who
Freya?
is not Freya, Frigra, the G. It's more of she's a goddess of love. She's not really talked about that much, but she's married to Udor, who is the god of madness and wisdom, who some people just think is Odin, because a lot of times these mythical figures will be listed in stories and poems, but different names will be used. So I thought that's interesting that now Odin is finding a queen who kind of lines up with his queen of mythology. Another example of that is like Hercules and Thor. They're very similar in their stories and their achievements. But yeah, we get to see like little bunnies poop out jelly beans. There's a jelly bean stigmata, which I saw some love for in the chat. The little stigmata cookies were pretty much on point. That was awesome. So she does a little speech. Oh, what's interesting is Astora literally means the shining one. And that was a lot, like when we first meet her, like the lighting on her all of a sudden went boom, and like she was glowing.
Oh, also, all the Jesuses were glowing too. Well, at least the main Jesus, played by Jeremy Davies of Lost, and he's on Twin Peaks last week as the guy who brought the.
Well, I didn't watch it.
No, you saw it. The one we talked about the episode last week on.
Oh, okay, my bad. I'm always like an episode behind. So.
No, the one where remember the wife yells at the 2 guys who taking the money from her. He's one of the guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh really? He's the one on the right.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I remember now. So they finally like go and they meet with I wrote down Jesus is hilarious because
Guilty Jesus.
guilty. Well, I mean, The one you're talking about. So
Yeah.
pretty much like
Sad Jesus.
he meets the store outside. They walk off to the side to talk, and he's like, this is what's going on. I need you. These people are bastardizing your name. Like they don't pray to you; they just celebrate him,
Yeah.
pointing to all the Jesuses. And what's cool is we get a representation of like every single culture's Jesus. Like we get like white Jesus and Mexican Jesus, and like there's some. I like Filipino Jesus. He was good. There's a bunch of them in there that looked really cool, and it's true. Wherever you see him, he looks like whoever's like. It's kind of like Galactus. The whole thing with Galactus is like the reason why he looks like a person is because he is what he looks like. Whatever the people he's going to go take their planet from look like. So if he was going to go take a Skrull planet, he would look like a Skrull.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of interesting. But
I mean, you notice that the first thing, Jeremy Davis Jesus, whichever you want, I don't know what you want to call him, which Jesus you want to call him, but he's like, you already know my name. And that's what happened in the Coming to America episode with the Mexican Jesus. He's like, you already know who I am. So, they play like the same like dialogue, but it's just a different interpretation.
That's funny. It's not funny, Candace, but I almost said Black Jesuses, but then I like backtracked to my memory and I couldn't think of one, so I didn't say it. I did not see any Black Jesuses, which I know from Adult Swim there's at least one depiction of.
Yeah, and she's talking about like a prayer video.
Michelle says there was a Black Jesus.
Oh, even for Madonna. Oh, there was?
He had dreads.
He had dreads? Of course he did. I don't know. Oh, so now he's messing with her now, saying that they killed Vulcan. After they go into a side room, he's like, oh, the New Gods, they killed Vulcan right after he gave me this badass sword. And Shadow like realizes what he's doing right away. And he's like, he's like complimenting her, like, they're not doing it for your beauty or whatever like that. Like he's in on the con right away. And let's see.
Yeah, like so like he chimed in and had like a really good insight, and then he's like, all right, now you can leave us alone. Like it was like he played his part to kind of like open the door for that persuasion by him.
Yeah.
In a way, and then now he's like, get out, let me talk to her privately.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's weird because for being like this episode's pretty much all in the same location for everyone, but it's weird because like their stories is kind of like muddled together a bit. Like we get to the big Laura and Mad Sweeney reveal right after we talk about Bilquis and Tech Boy again. But like I totally forgot about that. Like this episode, there was a lot of cool things, but they felt very muddy. It's like they threw it against the wall or something. But we also see Bilquis talking to Tech Boy again, and she's not, she doesn't like what she's become, or what Tech Boy has made her into, and he's calling in a favor now. Pretty much, he addresses her vagina as a gun to point at someone else.
Yeah.
At that, like, I don't know. Does she see herself as being used as a weapon now, or is that showing her that she's being used? Like, I don't know. A queen doesn't get told who to sleep with.
But he also says like he had mentions like the cavernous like whatever abyss that it is. He knows the deal.
He knows all about it.
Yeah.
Wandolph.
No, she made a hilarious Gandalf joke because I said Gandalf, my Jesus would look like Gandalf the White, and then she's like, I think you mean Gandalf the White, which I think she's like cracking a joke about how they're like, aren't you Gandalf? And he's like, no, I'm Gandalf the White.
This is my final form. So Laura and Mad show up, and he's sleeping in the ice cream truck, and she conveniently shows up. At the same time, Shadow is there. I don't know if at a certain point she realized Shadow was there and just followed the light, or was she following the light the whole time and it brought her there?
Well, the thing was, I don't think she was under the impression that they're going to the rock place, right? House on the Rock or whatever it's called. Because remember, that's what she told the Jinn. That's where they're going. So I thought she was under the impression that Odin and Shadow were going there for all of them to meet. I don't think she knew that they were stopping by there, right? It was his idea to stop by there to get her resurrected. So I think it's just coincidence that they're all there at the same time.
Yeah, but they're gods. We know there's no such thing as coincidence,
I guess.
which we learn more about.
We also
Yes,
see
this
that.
is a-
I mean, we've already seen this, but like we also see the stark contrast between how much Laura just believes in everything, right? She's like, oh, there's Jesus now. Like she's like just believes like these are all Jesuses and stuff. And Shadow's now like accepting like everything. And we see at the end of the episode too what he says, but like he was not as quick to believe as Laura was.
I mean, I get that. I just don't buy it. Like, he never reacted like any of the things he was seeing were fantastical. You know what I mean? Like, the way he was reacting to everything is the same way Laura is reacting to everything. Oh, there's gods. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's that. Like, I don't believe that he doesn't believe.
Except for Easter.
What?
Except for how he looked at Easter.
Well, no, Easter, that was his best acting, and I don't even know if that was acting. She's a very attractive and seems like a very charming woman. Like, I would probably blush too if she was like, oh, look at you. So we see. Oh, okay. So by the end of this, I want us to talk about the scene. By the end, and when I say by the end of this, I mean by the end of this series, I want us to look back on this scene again.
The one
with Shadow and Jesus talking about belief.
Okay.
Because this scene was not in the original book because Jesus wasn't really there. Maybe he was there. Now that I'm thinking about Easter, it's just I need to reread the book.
No, wait. Let me ask you before you go on with that. You said not in the original book because I saw the description of this. They said like it was like remastered for the new age or whatever. It says like in the description on Amazon. So does that mean like they rewrote things for it? Because the way you said original book, so I didn't know if that's what you meant by that.
I know he's written like the Mexican Jesus stuff. That's like a side story that he wrote. I don't know if they've released a version of the book with all of his side stories in it.
Well, this is the one that you have that Joe and Ashley got you because I was looking at that actual book. It said the remastered or something. If you look at the Amazon description,
I don't know. I have to read it and see if any of that stuff's in there. I'll know. Like, I'll figure it out. But the version of the book I had before this didn't have it. I don't know. That's a good question.
I can tell you what they exactly say, and I'll text you or something. But,
to be honest with you, I would rather have all of his side stories like in the back of the book, or like how Martin does his Dunkin' Egg. You know what I mean? I don't need Grant to show me that. I just want to read about it. So they talk about belief and how that works. And then we get Sweeney and Laura. They meet up with Astora, and Astora, I guess Sweeney did something for Astora.
Oh wait, before you do that, the way that they cut to that scene, how she knows they're there is because the rabbit whispers to her in the ear, which I thought was hilarious.
A dead girl? Yeah, that was funny. I liked her little rabbit spies. Yeah. But does that mean she's responsible for flipping the truck?
That's what I was saying last episode.
Never addressed. Like, it seems like she likes Sweeney, so why would her rabbit try to kill one? Or kill him?
Yeah.
I don't know. So...
Well, it seems like they just run onto the road, right? And right? It seems like the rabbits just ran onto the road, and Odin just drove right over them, whereas Lara swerved to avoid it. So, yeah.
So maybe that was just there to show us the difference between Laura. Like maybe that's a test for Easter to see if people are worth like talking to. If they don't even care about a bunny, how do they care about anything else? Bunnies are cute and they don't harm anybody.
Not like everyone's supposed to. What's up with their twitchy noses or whatever? Twitchy legs and happy little noses.
Bunny,
and what's with all those carrots?
Why
do they need such good vision anyway? It must be bunnies.
What with all the carrots? Why do they need such good eyesight anyway?
There you go, Candace.
Buffy musical. Bunnies, it must be bunnies. Or maybe midgets. Yeah. It's dated. It's the 90s. I saw Monty Python on Broadway, and I've seen other Monty Python stuff. But back to what we were talking about. That's not Buffy or Monty Python. So there's a lot going on. Like, so she goes and she talks to the to
Dead
Laura
Yep.
and Sweeney, and she's like, "Oh, okay, I'll fix you." Oh wait, I can't because we got to see this cool like little visualization of like the last thing she saw in her retinas.
Didn't they do that in like Wild Wild West?
They did in Wild Wild West, and they do that in that Johnny Depp Bob Crane movie. I can't remember.
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy
I don't
Hollow?
remember that, but
felt like
could
it.
have.
But yeah, they definitely did it in Wild Wild West. Jim West, Desperado.
And he said you didn't die. You didn't die like a normal death. You died. God killed you, so that means it's different.
So it's like fixed in time or something
Yes.
like that. What's Doctor Who call those?
Fixed points.
Fixed points in time. So then that happens. Then she goes, and Media's at the door. So she's dealing with Media now. So now it's just like everybody is like circling around.
Well, wait. Let's not forget the rabbit whispers in her ear again, tells him, and then she goes, "Oh, I have more guests or whatever."
So Media's there with her dance crew and
America's Next Best Dance.
America's God's dance crew. Goddamn best dance crew.
America's Next Dance Gods.
So
What I'm going with.
So anyway, I literally have 3 sentences left in my notes because I gave up. So Laura like questions Sweeney while Media and Astora are talking, and the whole talk between Media and Astora is pretty much like Media reminding her that, oh, you know, happy your holiday. Don't forget, I'm responsible for having you have your holiday, which Easter had started by marketing around 1907. So I don't know if Media is that responsible for it, but anyway. And then while we're talking, Laura and Sweeney are talking, and she has them by the balls. What did she say? She threatened to pop one. We confirm that Odin is part of the robbery. That's what went wrong. He messed up their perfect plan.
Because she didn't consider divine intervention.
Right, but we find out like, and we're starting to see this more and more, like how much sacrifice is needed in order to keep these gods like happy, which I mean is kind of like old world thinking. Like we need to do so much to keep our gods happy, as far as like human sacrifice and other kind of things. Oh no, I'm falling apart here. But we finally get to see this confrontation where, you know, Wednesday comes out and he's like, you know, you're not responsible. Like these people, you know, worshipped her before you were even like an idea. They gave they prayed and she gave, and that's how it worked. You know what I mean? They didn't owe us anything. We worked in tandem together. And so like there's like this whole thing where Tech Boy shows up like using like one of those dance crew guys as like a surrogate body, I think.
Yep.
And he's like, oh,
Now he's got grills because you know his teeth got knocked out.
He had the grill. I didn't even write, like, it made me mad originally, but like at that point, just get new teeth. Don't go the Leto route.
Never go.
Oh, that you see the type of person he is. I'm sure that's what he wanted to go. He had dreads before, you know, so he's got to go for that like hip hop look that he likes.
For sure. And second here, Kimber's YouTube app's not working, so I'm gonna try to get her set up on my phone real quick while we're talking. Yeah, and Mr. World. No, Tech Boy wasn't there until like 2 of the bodies like merged. They like fusion had Dragon Ball Z style. The Mr. World one was cool, was because like he was like trying to occupy the space, but it looked like he was too big to fit the body. Well,
we did get the question, like why does she want Shadow so badly? I think Laura asked it to Sweeney, but Sweeney didn't answer. You know, so that's kind of like the question, the big question right now. Why Shadow? You know, and I'm sure I guess that's what's gonna come through next season. You know, who is Shadow and why is he so important?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to address that, but I can't for you. So what's cool is we finally get some like confrontation going on. Like, I really liked Mr. World's like, you know, you fight, we win. You don't fight, we win. But of course,
Well,
Odin say that. And as Technical Boy said, it's like guns versus swords.
Right.
But you know what I think beats guns? Lightning.
Lightning. Yeah. Well, what I also see is, though, they say the only way that you guys have power is, like, as in the old gods, is through war. So you could still see Mr. World's reluctant to go to war. He's still kind of civil in a way, trying to have diplomacy as opposed to any kind of real physical confrontation. Because they were saying, like, the only way the old gods get power is through war. Because, like, you're like the gods of war or whatever. So I think he's trying to avoid that at all costs to give him any like inkling of hope, you know?
Yeah, I
mean, you would know better, but that's my speculation. That's what I'm speculating.
I think because it's different, like old god ethics versus new god ethics. Like, you think about what the old gods represented, and when people prayed to them, it was in times of famine, in times of war. Like, they were usually like when there was a drought, which we see later. Like, we prayed to goddesses of the spring. You know what I mean? Like, we did this for them. We did this for them to help us, and then in return we helped them. Like a symbiotic relationship. But the thing with oh no, I'm losing it. Oh, the thing with the new gods, though, is I think it's a lot to do with like time, like how much stuff can we do? Because when we do stuff on the internet, it's all about like the moment something takes longer than like 3 seconds, we lose our minds. Like, I think it's more about like bop, 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 like just management. And I don't think Mr. World has time for any of this. Like, why waste the resources? Why? Like he said, like, I could fight you and I have no but there's no reason. Like, there would be lives lost. I would win either way. It's kind of like the Ramsay Snow, like, why would I fight you?
Fight you one-on-one. Yeah.
So that's how I view it. But regardless, Odin takes first blood, and he offers the people he's about to kill, which I don't know if the faceless people are people. Like, I don't know if that counts. I thought they were like constructs, but maybe they're just worshippers who've been corrupted in some way. Maybe they're just wearing a VR setup.
Yeah. I mean, but it did do the job, right? From what?
Yeah, it killed what was ever there. I really wish, like, because Technical Boy at this point isn't really that important. We've met him. We know what he's about. I wish he killed Technical Boy. Like, I'm fine with them making some changes here and there.
Well, no, but I mean, like, I don't like Technical Boy, but he's like kind of like that Joffrey. Like, you don't want him around, but he's like there and like to be like a little needle, pain in the ass kind of thing, you know. And he's like that villain you'd like to hate, but like I don't even like him. He's kind of he has a point at the moment. Like, that's just how I feel.
Technical Boy called them the children. So yeah, maybe they're their own. Maybe, it's funny talking back about the children. I read somebody online compared it. You know how in some like, I think it's Twitter, if you're an anonymous, you have like an egg icon. Yeah. It reminds them of the blank faced like expression. Well, not that egg gives you an expression, but kind of just like they're just like faces in the mess. I thought that's a pretty cool theory, but I don't know what's up with them. But yeah, so he takes them down. He starts a war.
That riles up Ostera.
Oh yeah, she gets. Well, first I want to address the actual like lifting of the veil here, where he goes and turns to Shadow, and he's like, "Do you know who I am yet?" And Shadow's like, "No, I don't have Google. I can't just go. Who is Wednesday in mythology? So tell me." And he goes and he lists every single name he has, which we've heard this entire time. We've heard Votan, and we've heard
I don't understand.
Grimnir.
No.
Yeah, like I don't. It was also set up. Like, the fact that it was never acknowledged during the interrogation scene, like, they should have picked a more abstract, like, thing. Like, oh, the satellite will be called the Grim. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then that could have been more of a, or maybe named after his ravens or something like that. But the fact that they called it Odin and he never addressed it seemed weird.
Yeah.
And then for this big reveal to happen, he's like, oh, that's who Odin is. Like, it didn't. And again, I wish Shadow still like it looked like he felt something. Like he should have. I don't know what Joe's referring to, but
Names for Odin.
yeah. Sleipnir, yeah, that's the horse, right? Anyway, I don't know. I thought like this was one of my favorite like sequences in the series so far, and I still felt like it was lacking. But going back to Astora, yeah, she becomes a badass at this point. She goes out and lets her hair down, literally, and takes all the life out of Kansas.
Oh, I think the dad commented like the All Father because that's what
Oh, okay. I'm like, I've never heard him referred to as just the dad. The All Dad.
The All Dad. All Dad all the time.
Every dad. And then we, after that, it goes to Bilquist, right? On the.
No, I mean, well, we get the Laura scene, don't we?
Oh yeah, and then Laura's like, "Hey, I want to talk to my husband alone because I'm Laura, and I have to interject myself into the coolest scene of the show so far."
And then she turns around and he turns around and smiles for like the second time you see him smile, or third time, I guess. You know.
Which I wouldn't. I'd be like, "How do I get you back in the ground?" Because obviously, something's up.
So yeah, then it goes.
She look good, but maybe she should stop. You know, like going into the water when she doesn't need to. And
I just love that duo, man. That's like that the Arya and the Hound duo kind of thing. You know, unlikely duo, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a lot of duos work because like one is the straight man and one is like what's it, the straight man and the I forget the term, but one's a straight man, one's the funny guy, and in this instance it's just two assholes, and I don't care about one asshole most of the time. Why would I care about two? I don't know.
Well, yeah, then it goes to Bilquist in the bus, right? Because she pulls basically the same scene that we saw in the airplane.
Right, where she lures someone into the maybe the 70 or wherever that was taking place. Would have had to been after 79. Maybe that would have worked, but like if people go missing off a plane today, like the whole plane is like,
yeah,
unless it's that one woman's daughter. What was that movie where the girl's daughter went missing on the plane? But
Flight Plan.
What was it?
Flight Plan.
Yeah. So maybe it was like that. I don't know. Anyway, then we see that, oh, here it is, House on the Rock. She's there, with a bunch of other cars. What does that mean? We don't know. That's where the
don't know. It would have been cool if we saw the taxi. I don't know if it was there and look close enough, but if we saw the taxi there, that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, see, that's a wasted opportunity. How great would have been if the taxi was right behind the bus and then we just cut to him real quick, just waiting. That would have almost been better, just to close on him trying to get to the House of the Rock, because that's where we're all out. We're all at. Anyway, I just want to remind everyone that Joe hates Dane Cook because he reminds us often. But let's get some.
Was there a poll that we need to get Kimber, like, or no?
We didn't do a poll. That was our fault. Even Kimber was recording for Morgan's podcast earlier today, and I forgot to even.
I was gonna ask, if you were in Ostara's position, who would you have sided with, the new gods or the old gods? So
if you guys want to, if you guys want to chat, I don't know if everyone heard that, but pretty much the survey question was, and it's only two choices. If you were in Ostara's position where you are being like, you are getting worship, you know what I mean? But it's like through a second party and like no one like knows your name. It's like being like the writer for a really successful song that everyone attributes to this person who sings it. Like, how annoying would that be? So would you have sided with the new gods or the old gods? Let us know in the chat, and we'll try to keep some kind of.
Do you want to get Kimber in here now? Kimber.
Kimber's making something to drink real quick, and then she'll be over here. But while we're doing that, why don't we get an idea of who's interested in
So
coming
Joe,
on.
I think Joe and Ashley want to call in. Probably Candace, Eric.
Eric can't.
Eric can. He just said I'll call in.
Oh, did he?
So let's do.
And Candace too. Yep.
I know. Candace has limited time, so let's get Candace and Eric in.
And then we get.
Then we'll do Joe and Ashley,
And then
and
Mac
if we
and
have
Corey.
time, we'll do Mac and Corey because Candace hasn't been on in a while, and Ashley and Joe, this is their third episode throughout the whole series, so we'll try to do that. So far, we got one vote for the new and one vote. Well, who voted for the new gods? Eric.
Oh, so everyone's gonna go with the opposite because Eric's the worst at these.
Yeah, man.
Just like his WWE predictions, it goes that way.
Oh man. So like they're just the bizarro versions of your aftermath report cards.
Yeah, well, I mean, mine's the legit results, but like when you do predictions ahead of time, it's always the opposite of what Eric chooses.
Oh man! So next time, like a Super Bowl or something, I need a bet. I'll ask him who he would pick, and then pick the other.
Choose the opposite. Yeah.
Candace voted new too. I missed that. Oh wow! You just want to hang out with media, Candace.
That's true.
If it was just technical boy, you would be like, "No, I'm good. I don't need you around that at all." I did not see. Oh, it's distracting because we're both the same name. New, so I didn't have to deal with no. Oh, she'll find a way, I'm sure. Anything's on the table now. I'm so excited to talk
Well,
to
we
Kim.
have time right now. Should I tell what the next item in the Knights box is?
Oh yeah, why don't you do that?
All right. So as you guys know, we're doing the Night's Watch is coming back July 14th, I think it is, for the recap, and then we're gonna officially start taking, I guess, this time slot right now for American Odds. We're gonna take the Night's Watch, gonna take this time slot as we think right now. But we're doing the Night's Watch box, and if you watched last week, the first item was the Pop Jon Snow figure. So tonight we're revealing the second item, which is actually donated by Tom and Kimber, and it's the Funko Legacy Edition Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah.
The supposed Kingslayer, as Eric would call.
I knew the timing was gonna be perfect.
So, thank you to Tom and Kimber for donating this, and that you'll have a chance to win this as well as the Jon Snow Pop. And next week we'll reveal the third item in the Knights box. So I guess we could do it on Twin Peeps or something next week. So stay tuned, and we'll reveal how to win it on the premiere episode in the recap episode.
Yes, and between then and there, we will be doing. Somebody has their YouTube on.
Probably Candace. She always does.
Oh, I didn't want to say names, Cal. Way to just out her like that.
I pushed mute.
It's always tradition, man. We can't have it without Candace doing that.
Look. There's reasons why people come and watch this show. It's for the technical difficulties, pauses.
As long as we don't say that one thing.
What are you saying?
I'm not gonna say that word. That one word that we're forbidden to say.
Oh, how Kimber met Josh. Yes, that's that word. We won't say that. Anyway, guys, you're calling and not me. I'll let you guys talk to Kimber.
Okay, so Candace, since we haven't heard from you in a while, I guess we just gotta catch up. How did you feel from what you've missed so far, and without ruining anything from the book that we haven't seen yet?
I stopped reading, so
Okay.
I didn't really know where we are because I got really frustrated and I rage quit. So I'm not going to read the book until I can start reading again now. Last episode, lots of feelings. I live tweeted it. If you guys
I
want
did
to take
see your live tweet.
Yeah, it was an intense episode for me. Lots of disparities in the way that they portrayed two different kinds of coming to America. Not a big fan of that. This show has some weird race stuff. Like some really weird, like clearly meaning to do the right thing, but just failing miserably every time. Like I feel like they didn't ask anybody I would be surprised if I looked at their writer's room and it was like anyone other than like one type of person. I can't quite say what the person or people might look like or background they're from, but like I feel like they just had one voice in this whole show, and they really needed some other perspectives. Like I was reading the other day that Rachel Bloom on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, she has predominantly female writers. And then there's a Filipino character on the show named Josh Chan. She has a Filipino writer just for Josh Chan, even though being Filipino like really has very little to do with his character. Like there's like maybe 2 episodes that they talk about it, but they still care enough to make sure that he's as authentic as possible. And I feel like Starz had the money. You know, they had the money to do this right, and I don't know why they made the choices that they made. So I thought that things were going to be, I was like, maybe this episode is going to be better. It's a season finale. They're going to, you know, they're going to like, just like give me everything that I've been waiting for all this time. It's going to be great. And then like it started and I saw the spiders and I was like, oh no, because I don't really like a Nazi.
Tom did the same exact thing.
Oh no, yeah, because I was just like,
oh no, see,
A no-see.
yes, a no-see, yes, that. So, and then like he makes it worse by like not kind of meditating on this character and perhaps making better choices. We get into Bilquis's story, and so just this is so small, and it might not matter to anybody else that's like watching right now, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. I have a huge problem, with like even down to like the hair in this show. Like you have Bilquis, she has this giant like Nefertiti style afro, even though Nefertiti's that wasn't hair, that was like a wrap, you know what I mean, that she had. It's not hair, but they give her this like Nefertiti hair thing, and I'm like, all right, cool. She's not an African goddess, but that's fine. Whatever you want. But in the front is relaxed somehow and like smoothed over. I'm like, what is this choice? She looked beautiful, and that was awesome. It's nice to see, you know, this beautiful Black woman, but she's the only Black woman on the show of note. I think she might just be the only Black woman in the show in general. And on top of that, she spends like 90% of the show naked. And there's this like serious history. I don't know if you guys know anything about like, you know, about like African-American history, especially in cinema. Like African-American women are usually portrayed as like this loud, sassy friend, the mammy who like takes care of everybody, or this like oversexed, like hyper slutty, like, you know, sex panther. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with being a sex panther. Like be a sex panther all you want. But this woman spends like most of her time naked. It's like all about her body rather than like who she is as a person. And instead of building her up to be really strong and powerful and just this like rapturous person, like I feel like a lot of the imagery they used was just disgusting. Like some black sludge goes into her vagina. I'm like, you couldn't have made that pretty. They couldn't have turned into like gold sparkles or something. Like it had to be fucking like gross, like fucking tar like entering her vagina. Like what's that about? Number one. Like number two. Yeah.
Real quick, I had to poke my head in here real quick because while I agree with you on mostly everything, at the point we are with Bilquis right now, it makes sense because that's all she has is her body. Like literally, that's all she has. She doesn't have worshipers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's like a choice
but the
they
fact that that's how she's portrayed throughout
made.
isn't helpful. You know
Right.
what I mean, if they set it up to where she didn't need all that, her worshipers having sex in that big orgy was enough. You know what I mean? But it's
like say that it feels like a blaxploitation film, and they're not trying to do that at all. But that's like the mark they're hitting accidentally.
Yes. And I think that like, you know, I agree. Like now that's all she has is her body. But at the same time, like, so in this day and age, like all you have is your body is nonsense. Like it's tone deaf. Like we have the internet. There is a world of pornography out there. The internet, like this much of it is porn, and this much is what people use it for. And maybe like this much, you know? Like we have sex and like lust everywhere. A woman that beautiful, especially like after, so you think like the 70s, right? She's in her heyday in the 70s. She's having a really great time. If you're thinking about the way that the world worked, like how did she not become a Pam Grier? How did she not like move to America or like move to Europe and like join this liberation movement of like sexuality? Like we were going through a cultural revolution. Like how is that? You know, I get it. She goes into the HIV scene and that's great. But like, what are we doing? And so like by the time Technology Boy gets to her, right, she's reduced to nothing. which, like, why is she reduced to nothing? She's a sex goddess. If anything, sex doesn't ever go away. That's like the last vice that people tend to pay money for, you know? Prostitution is the oldest occupation ever, other than like maybe a fisherman or something. So it's like, you know, how did she not, like, how did she run out of followers? But that's besides the point. Like, even if she does run out of followers, you have Technology Boy come to her, right? And like, obviously in like sci-fi and fantasy, there's like a real problem with like having this like white savior thing all the time. Like Avatar, white savior complex, Dances with Wolves, white savior complex. Like the white guy is always coming and saving the day. So like this white guy comes and he's wearing fucking a grill in his mouth. And he looks at this beautiful black woman and is like, you're mine now. And I'm like, stop. No, stop. Like, that is a problem. Like, that's a problem. If media had shown up, how did they miss the opportunity to turn media into Anna Nicole Smith and have that chick roll up on Bilquis and be like, what's up? We're doing this together. Chicks are liberated now. I can make you fucking millions. You will have fans everywhere. All you have to do is sit in a house and be on chat all day. Like,
Yeah,
how did we not do that?
It is interesting. Corey says on the chat, how is there
I
not
love that idea.
you know what I mean? Like if she teamed up with media, she would have been much more successful than Technical Boy.
Yeah, and like I see Joe in the chat saying that he saw it more as like a deal with the devil, but I feel like someone who has that power, like even in the book, there's only one scene with Bilquis. Like it's the first scene. And like even then she's like it's almost the way that I read it was like she's not content to live in the filth and squalor that she lives in and to be in this situation. But at the same time, she's not without power. She's not without confidence. She's not, like, she doesn't completely let herself go. She's not disgusting. You know what I mean? So to see her in this position where she's disgusting, I mean, I've seen homeless people having sex. So even if she's homeless, she still could have eaten some people and stayed nice looking. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like they, like, totally didn't care about their own mythology.
Maybe it was part of the plan that Technology Boy did that so that she wouldn't get too powerful. Because if she did team up with media, she might have been, like, OP, you know, so maybe they didn't want her to get too powerful, so they just sent that as like another plan. I don't know.
I can see that. I just, you know, I mean, there were a lot of problems with her character for me, like, you know, especially like, I mean, it wasn't very subtle at all that like for her to become beautiful again in this modern world, she relaxes her hair. I'm like, why? Like, why does she have to have straight hair the second time around? Like, if anything, if you don't want to be tone deaf, and we're supposed to be set in 2017 right now, she should have natural hair. Black women are going natural everywhere. I went natural 3 years ago. And, like, I am, like, the queen of, like, ridiculous pinup curls and shit. Like, so, and I can't do any of that with this hair. But it's important to me that I at least try this because I want to kind of explore where I come from. So, you know, I feel like they just didn't ask any questions. They were just like, we know about stuff, type. And like, that's, to me, that's how it is across the board. Almost every episode, you know, and every, you know, Coming to America story has been very kind of tone deaf. Like, I feel like the best one they did was with Salim. And part of me feels like the reason it was so beautiful is because they have the insight of a gay man writing it. You know what I mean? He can write from experience. And I feel like they should have gotten someone who like cared a little bit more about being right. You know what I mean? About making the right moves. I mean, Game of Thrones has like a handful of black people in it, like a handful. And like they do everything that they can, even though race on that show really isn't like what it is in real life. You know what I mean? It's not as much of an issue. Like they still try to like do what they can to show like the togetherness that some of them feel and the relationships. Like they try. Like this show, I feel like they just didn't try.
I thought the best kind of like and unfortunately, no, I don't want to be in the shot. This is you've taken over. Hi, this is the microphone. Oh no. The only person who had like some kind of good comment on the whole like difference of color thing is Chernobog. Like his like explanation of it where he's like, oh well, you know, where I'm from, I'm the one of the dark hair, like I'm the one who's different and I'm the bad guy. Like, so it's weird to have him explain that and also, but I don't know. I never got to get your views on the transportation thing from last episode.
So much rage.
She live tweeted. I remember we mentioned that like on the last episode we're like, oh, Candace is definitely having an issue with this because like how they did the slave ship in the episode, whatever, second episode. And then I watched her, I read her live stream and I'm like, there it is. Candace said it.
Like I'm watching it, and I see the ship, and I turn to Jason, and I'm like, oh no. He's like, yeah, I hope it doesn't. And then he goes, pack tight as the slavers. And I was like, time out. Pack tight as the slavers? Because we had all kinds of locker room in the last one. We were fucking chilling on benches, shooting the shit for a while, having a good time. Nobody had any bruises or like marks on them. Nobody was thrown up. Everybody was in good health, doing jumping jacks in the background. Like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? And like, you see her like on this ship, and she's all like, oh God, I'm just having such a hard time. This is terrible. Whatever. Like, no. Just no. No. Like, I don't understand. I don't know if maybe like they felt bad portraying slavery in that way, and they were just like, I just want to stay away from it, or like what? But that was just crazy. Like, that was just crazy, and I don't like it. It ruined the Essie story for me. Like, I love that story. When I read it in the book, I was like, man, this is so beautiful. Like, it's so good. Like, it's like, I don't know. I really liked it. It's my favorite Coming to America story. And like, I was just like, I waited all season for this. How could you do this to me? This show is just like one long betrayal for me. I don't know. I'm all.
Man, I wish I was in the same room
I
as
love
you when we
Candace
watched this.
so much. Candace, I love you.
So Eric, I feel like we should spend some time with you, buddy. How are you liking the show so far?
I have to be honest. This series has not grabbed me in the way I wanted it to. I liked the beginning episodes actually better than the back half of the season. And my problem, one of my big problems, a lot of people they focus on, like Shadow, I find him to be very boring. I kind of liked Laura. I mentioned this with her first standalone episode. I think it was episode 4. But as these episodes have gone on, she's completely gotten on my nerves. And last week, I hated last week's episode. Her character, play that character. I think it was honestly because I didn't want to spend any money on a different actress personally. But it's I'm kind of like on the fence. Like this episode much better than last week's.
I agree. If you notice, they recycled 2 actresses in that episode last week. The grandma played the older version of her. So, yeah, they just don't want to pay more than 2 actresses at a time, it seems.
Now, I am anxious because I decided to take Candace's advice and not read the book until the season was over. So now I will read the book, and I'm so curious to see like what all the differences are, because from what I'm hearing from a lot of people, the book is much better.
It's Tom's favorite book.
It is my favorite book, and I was actually playing around with the idea because we have plenty of time before the next season starts. I want to read the book before next season, but I feel like that's when it's going to start actually being more like the book. So we're actually giving away a copy of American Gods in the channel giveaway. So if you don't have the book, that's a perfect time to try to get it. And I would love to do a book club on it once everyone has we get into the next season. But I can understand some people not wanting to read it, but I would rather talk about the book.
I do have a question about the book. There's something I'm kind of curious about.
You could always message me about a question. I don't mind talking about the book whenever.
Well, then I mean, it's not like this isn't a spoiler. I'm just curious with Laura's character in the book. Is she portrayed this way?
No.
Kind of like emotionless.
No.
Like on Game of Thrones, everyone knows my love of Stannis Baratheon. His character is not meant to have much expression. That's what makes him him. He's not meant to have like all this charisma. And I wonder, is her character supposed to be like this, or is this just the show's way of portraying her? They're just choosing to do this way.
Oh my god. Yeah, Jason.
Only if Candace will be Laura.
No, I would never make her do that.
What happened?
No, she has to be media. Candace is media.
That's fine. She's just got to work on her impressions.
I'll be Laura because I'm dead inside after this.
Yeah, but
this show.
Candace said it the best in the chat. She's more indifferent in the book, so I think more like there's a thin line between indifferent and apathetic. I don't feel like she doesn't care about nothing like she does in the show. I feel like there is, like, I don't know. You got to read it. Like, shining.
Okay. I hear you. And like I said, I'm on the fence with it. I'm gonna watch season 2. But I don't like to hate watch stuff. It's really not my thing to hate watch. And if I'm dating a girl who's into a show I don't like, I'll put up with it. I'll watch the show. But if season 2 gets off to like a bad start, I don't know if I'll stick with it. And I hate giving up on a show.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
I'm that person. Like, so shows are a little bit easier. Like if a movie is bad, and I'm watching it with somebody who really wanted to watch it. Like if the person doesn't want to watch it, then like I won't continue to watch it. And if it's a movie that I said I wanted to see and it ends up being bad, I'll walk out. Like I'll straight up walk out if I'm in a movie theater. Like I walked out of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie. I walked out of The Avengers, the old one with Uma Thurman. Like I'll walk out. But TV shows, like sometimes I can give up and sometimes I can't. Like if I'm already drawn in, like I'm that asshole that'll like sit there and just like hurt the whole time. And I feel like that's what I did this whole season. And so like we get to the last episode, right? And they're like pulling into like the meeting that I've been waiting all this time for. Man, I want to see Mommy G so bad. Like I want to see Mommy G so bad. Anyway, so so I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, Wisconsin, yeah. And then they're like, close. And I'm like, oh ho ho, you got me.
What was my reaction?
Apparently, I'm just dating a dude, Candace.
This was your plan all along.
A little bit.
So I just want to point out something Nichelle says, because she doesn't get to voice her opinion on video like we do, and she's always active in the chat. She says, LOL, I'm opposite everyone. Overall, I didn't really like the show. I expected it to be so much better, but I actually liked the last 2 episodes best. The snow episode was kind of and snow episode, but the rest was kind of meh. And I agree. The snow episode was the interrogation episode, right? The interrogation episode's the one afterwards, because they get caught.
Was the snow the robbery one?
Yeah, that's the robbery one, and then the next one's the interrogation one. I liked this episode, the interrogation one, and the Chernobog episode the most.
I liked all of Media in every moment that she was on the show. I thought this finale was okay, but again, problematic in the same ways that it's continued to be problematic the whole time.
Now, is she just supposed to be Media when she meets up with Easter? She's
I don't
supposed
know.
to be,
Do you guys know who she was supposed to be?
like, I was getting like a Scarlet vibe, but at the same time, they made no references to it. So I was like,
Scarlett O'Hara?
yeah.
Candace says
She's
Scarlett
supposed to be
O'Hara.
Chernobog? Joe?
She's yeah, okay. That's what I thought, Candace. I thought it was supposed to be Scarlet, but I was like, it would have been great if like Wednesday was like, well, I don't give a damn. Like at least do it for a reason. Like it
Yeah.
just seemed like it was like, I can also do this voice.
I liked Bowie better.
My favorite episode was actually the pilot. I still like the pilot the best.
Pilot was good because we were getting into
We were still excited about it then.
I'm curious to watch the pilot and the finale back to back and see how they are as far as compared next to each other.
Yeah.
Oh, the Derby and all like that? That makes sense.
I do want to ask another question and get them going in the chat. If Media was going to appear to you, because she tends to pick images that like reflect on
That's a good
who the person she's talking to is, who would Media appear to for you? For me, it would be probably Lady Gaga.
It wouldn't be
And
Vincent
it'd be
Price.
awesome.
I would like to see her try Vincent Price.
I think I'd rather have her do Freddie Mercury if we're
Oh my
going a
God.
male character.
Let's go around the opposite way because I got to think about this.
Do you
Cal?
have one, Cal?
Oh, I have no idea. I
Candace?
wouldn't even know.
I don't know. I think if media came to me, I feel like she'd
Okay.
probably be like, I don't know.
She says, Jason says Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. You know what? Honestly, if media came to me as Buffy, that'd probably blow my mind. That probably is it. If she like rolled up on me, even worse, as Faith, I'd be like, I wouldn't know what to do.
5 by 5.
I'm like, are you 5 by 5? Are you?
Ashley says Tina Fey.
It's a good one.
Oh, okay. So she's playing Judy Garland from the movie called Easter Parade. Okay, that's a pull.
Oh, cool.
And see, I just wish there was more of a, for people who don't know, like, because everyone knows who Marilyn Manson. Everyone knows who Marilyn Manson is. That's who she'd show up for me. No, not really.
No.
I don't
Marilyn
know.
Monroe. You were saying Marilyn
I am.
Monroe.
Yeah, that's what I mean. to do like a kind of a cool pull like that kind of hurts when you don't know who she's, because I thought it was just
Yeah.
media being media for a second because I didn't know. Man, this is a hard question, Eric. Oh, I know she would come.
Status
No,
Grab?
no, I
Who
was, it's
else?
funny. I was gonna say
Who else
Brienne
would I
Tarth
want
in
to
mine.
appear to me? The more Stannis, the better. So definitely Stannis.
She just shows up as Sufjan Stevens for you.
Yes. Yes. Sufjan Stevens. His sword is Arabic for he who comes with a sword.
His name is not his sword.
That's cool.
That's
You
what-
said his sword is.
Oh no, sorry. His name. His name is.
He's a singer that Tom likes. He's
He is
good.
my idol.
Google it. He's very good.
Oh, Kimber, I felt bad a couple weeks ago when I told you Marilyn Monroe was my great aunt, and you believed me for like 10 seconds. I felt bad about
Yeah,
that.
You know
you know what
what?
happened too? Afterwards, we're like, wait a minute, her name was Norma Jean.
Yeah, Norma Jean
When,
Baker.
I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
when I was in grade school and camp, I used to do that a lot. Yeah, I knew her. She was my
Max said
she was my great
Max said it
aunt.
would be Deadpool for him.
Nice. Yeah, when you did that and I fell for that joke, I felt like such a dunce. Like you should just put me in a corner. With
I
one
fell
of those
for it
hats.
too, though. Don't feel bad. I was like, really?
It's
Eric would
common.
never lie about it.
It's a common.
Jason says Questlove.
I would like
So
to
those
see.
are my like general
and,
thoughts on the
do
series. I just hope season 2 gets better.
Yeah.
Racist.
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
But if they do it digitally, is it? Yeah, it still is.
What if she's just
Well,
dressed?
I guess it depends on what kind of ship he comes in, right? If it's packed or not.
They would ruin it. That can be sure. We can be sure of. They would absolutely destroy that. It would be a very bad idea. I'm glad they
Afropick is
didn't.
Too big.
Just
like-
it would be like a cartoon.
I have to
of
tell
black.
you though, part of me kind of hopes that in season 2 they like keep the same writers and just make this a show that I can rag on every week. Like I hope I can just hate watch the shit out of it. Get like really drunk, do like an American Gods drinking game, and just throw things at my television. Like I really need another like something else to do that too. Like I feel like I haven't had one in a while where I'm just like seething with rage the whole time and then I exhaust myself. I kind of want it. I kind of want it a little bit.
That's the best way to hate watch. Be nice and drunk. That is a good way to hate watch.
Well, it's unfortunate yet comforting that everyone's kind of in the same. Yeah, we're gonna. It's a little comforting that everyone's kind of on the same level to where they expected it to be much better. Maybe that's because I hyped it up. I don't know. But
Well, I just know you like
Everyone
that
was
book,
hyping
so-
it up to me.
The source
Everyone,
material
not
is
just you,
wonderful. Like the source material is wonderful. They had their work cut out for them. I feel like this is the case where like greed has taken over. They're like, oh, we want more seasons, so we're gonna kind of fuck this book and stretch it out, even though it shouldn't be stretched.
tell you what,
Yeah,
though,
before Game of Thrones started, I was super hyping Game of Thrones up because it's incredible.
I can't wait to read this.
Yeah, Tom just got Norse mythology.
Although I will
Mhm.
say, first impressions, thin book, big text, which I'm not too happy about. Or not. Did I say thin text? Big text. I meant.
Yeah, it's a short
Um,
book. It looks like it would be longer, but it's like really double spaced and big ass letters and.
Like pages with only.
Do we have time? You want to get
Yeah, let's get somebody else on. I guess.
Ashley and Joe?
All right.
Bye.
Bye, Candace. Bye, Eric.
Bye. Wonderful talking with all of you as always.
Yep.
See ya.
I guess I gotta enjoy you here since we don't see you on Aftermath.
Oh god.
Ooh, savage.
See how I left right after you said that?
We gotta
Uh,
send them that SNL clip with the Rock, the wrestling thing.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Mad Dog.
Ashley and Joe, I think we're sending you the invite.
Yeah,
Send it to Joe, he says.
I did.
Just I don't know how many more callers you're gonna.
I think we're gonna try to wrap it up by 10:30 because I know Joe and Ashley are trying to do their stream afterwards, and I got work at 10:45. So.
If my YouTube will work,
Hey.
I'll be back on there.
Hi.
Hey, you
buddy.
guys.
How's it going?
Not bad.
Good.
Well, I mean, it
Oh,
could
there-
be worse. It could have been another incredibly Laura heavy episode.
Hey, man, I really like that episode.
Ugh.
We don't all have to like the
They made
same
it for
things.
you.
It's cool.
It's Matt Sweeney, man. Matt Sweeney is what makes it.
I do love Mad Sweeney.
So, but Yeah. So another reference to the Easter bonnet thing. The children were dressed like Fred Astaire was from that scene in the movie as well.
Okay. See,
Is that why they were dancing around?
that's why they're dancing.
Is that
That's
reference?
why they were.
in the
That's why they were
book?
circling her threateningly.
I did not love
Dancing.
the dancing. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was kind of thinking like it was a Panic at the Disco. Like I was expecting them to break out with a line of like, "I write sins, not tragedies," or whatever.
I can tell you what, based on Panic on Disco's track record, the prosthetics would have looked much cooler.
You know, I feel like
Probably. I'm not.
they need to do this. They need to do the episode again during the week. Like, so they have it on Sunday, and they need to do it again, like on like a Thursday or something, with like a pop-up video version to have these little facts. Like, oh, this is like what Joe just said about like the children dressed up as Fred Astaire from the movie. Like, they need to have little pop-ups to show like little,
References.
the reference that we're missing, or some of us
Like
are
a
missing.
pop-up video.
Because we
Yeah.
started reading the book and then we stopped because it wasn't following along with the show. So it's like we might as well just wait.
Everything.
And I don't think we've gotten to media in the part that we've gotten to yet.
No.
So do they tell you in the description in the book like media comes to the person looking like David
No, it was
Bowie?
Lucy. He sees Lucy on the TV, and Lucy, she's like blah blah blah, but she never introduces herself. I think it's Wednesday who tells him that that's media. If I'm
Okay.
But
For Lucy, even after.
yeah, even in the show, he still calls her Lucy, or he called her
Okay.
Lucy.
Nice.
Because that's such a weird, like, that movie is like not super popular, obviously. You know, all these movie fans in this chat, and like only one person like got the reference.
I also like musicals, so
But I love all the Judy
Michelle
Garland,
got it too.
all
so.
the Judy Garland, you know, movies. Like she did tons of them. Like she's most well known for, like The Wizard of Oz. I don't know. I thought that was a weird cut.
But that one's not about Easter.
I know. I'm just saying. I think they would have come up with something that like more people would understand, especially that like these kind of shows are going to skew to a younger demographic. You know, younger being our age.
What other movies are there about Easter?
I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Well, how do you feel about the whole season as a whole, though?
I definitely, like Eric said earlier, like the beginning episodes better. Those were more engaging. Like as a finale, this was kind of like the whole Odin reveal. It's like if you know anything about Norse mythology, I'm learning with speech and I haven't had anything.
They are in the north.
Like you already knew when he said, "Oh, today's my day. Just call me Wednesday." It's like Odin.
Though with the weather like this, you might have thought it was Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, like okay, and then they're doing all this big like production of his reveal. It's like, okay, this is dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb. Like
It's like I said, in a reveal that surprised absolutely no one.
Yeah,
I mean, it was better than last week's episode, but like it's not saying much. Yeah, I know, Tip.
Been good, but none of them have been like, great.
That's another staple of having the shows, the cats on the shows as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is your brand.
there's no cats on this episode.
There was a tip. Oh, in the actual episode. No, it's true.
Bunnies. They got
Lots of
ran
bunnies.
over.
Him, I always screw it up. Is it a boy or girl?
Tiblet's a
Tiblet?
girl.
She's a girl.
Yeah. Okay. She her coming onto screen last night was amazing. For anyone who wasn't here during OSP and Chill last night, there were Ashley and Joe were sitting there, and right between them, she comes up. She's just like for like a minute. It was amazing. I think a gift would be wasted without the sound. I should just make a short clip that repeats.
Sure, whatever. We need more Tiblet GIFs, whatever, video clips. Tiblet's presence needs to be known.
For sure. I'm just gonna make a Blab GIF page on the website. With all the cats on it.
I was gonna say I actually really enjoyed Anansi in it, Mr. Nancy in this episode. If only because I really like Orlando Jones, and seeing him get work fills my heart with joy. And I think it's a little overdone.
Top Evolution.
I'm sorry, that didn't sound like crap. I can't remember. Double Take. didn't sound like double take to me.
No, Evolution's definitely better than Double Take any day of the week.
I'm sorry, what, Tom?
You are so beautiful. Come on.
Tib, no, she's very angry too. Apparently,
Hi.
she didn't like all those bunnies.
Oh, she cheered when Odin struck them with his car.
Probably.
I did like all the Jesuses though.
The Jesuses were cool.
Yeah.
And Sad Jesus was my favorite. I feel so bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's
I was dying when that happened. That was hysterical.
and they all looked a little hurt, but he looked hurt the most.
Yeah. Oh, that
And
was
he's-
good.
I also like the I guess the guy that was quoted as Jesus Prime, where he's like sitting. Oh my. Where he's like sitting on the pool drinking, and then he like puts his cup down, and it sinks to the bottom, and the look on his face is just like utter disappointment and defeat. It was just the best.
I really thought it was gonna come back up as wine for a second.
I
He's
was
gonna
hoping
drink
that
it and
would
put the cup
happen.
Or you
back
just
down.
see the whole pool turn to wine.
That would've
Yeah,
been cool
I
if he
thought
handed-
that was gonna. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
That would've been cool. That would've been a party. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm already getting less enthused about the show.
Yeah. Definitely,
I don't
like
know,
I'm
man.
not amped for the second season based off of just the way this one went. I will finish the book because I really do want to. I have been liking like what I've been reading so far, but it's just been so disjointed with the show, and their pacing is really awkward. And definitely, I'm not a Laura fan. Cannot stand her in the show. She annoys me to no end. I was glad that she wasn't in it a whole lot in this episode, but even the part she was in was like, really? But that wasn't the most annoying thing. The most annoying thing was in Bilquis's Coming to America story when she's at the hospital with a woman who has HIV. That is not how. Like if you like, my uncle died of AIDS. And like you're in quarantine, like you're not allowed to like be in the room with them. I know she's a goddess or whatever, so there's probably creative license, but like they would have had that person like in a special hospital quarantine. Like if you have to go in there, you have to be like suited up.
I was
especially
gonna say,
in a time where we didn't understand the disease as much.
yeah, because it was like supposed to be the 80s or something that she
Yeah.
was there, and it was worse then.
Yeah, my uncle died like 9 years ago, and it was still like that. So I mean, it's a big deal.
Also, it's kind of rough to be like, oh, and of course, man went and tried to depower her again, when in reality, the population that was affected by AIDS the most in the 80s was the male gay population. So
Yes.
and it seems like, which was weird because you would think Brian Fuller would know that. I don't know. It's just like it seems like they just pick, like they have a dartboard full of like, oh, what kind of stance can we
Social
take on a certain opinion, and then they throw it, and then they're like, okay, let's work that into this episode.
Well, and this show reeks of like well-intentioned but poorly executed. Like it feels like they're really, really, really trying to do good things and say good things, and et cetera, but they're just so absolutely tone deaf in their execution that it kind of loses a lot of its meaning.
Yeah, I agree.
I think maybe after the entire series is over, that's when I'll read the book. I don't know if I want to spoil
That's fair.
how it comes out. Because like you guys are saying, it's so out of order that I don't know if it even makes sense for me to read the book. So I think I might just wait till the show's over.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
for
see.
example, I've gotten to the bank robbery in the book, and media hasn't even been introduced yet.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't think you met Crispin Glover's character yet either. There's a lot of people, and a lot of people you should have met by now too, which is a little frustrating. Because some of the characters earlier in the book are, because a lot, if Odin gets what he wants, there's going to be a lot going on in the third season. And I felt like the beginning of the book was kind of the best part, where we got to, meet characters and find out what they're about. And I felt like they kind of botched that this season.
I was also going to say real quick, from the disjointedness and the weird out of shape. Night, Candace. See that you're going to bed there. Night. But I was gonna say that one of my big issues was like in the book, Shadow's just like, you know what, screw all this. I'm not gonna worry about the apartment or anything else. But in the show, he like spends an entire day cleaning up the house and all that jazz. I'm just like, I don't care.
I'm sorry, Candace is making me in the chat laugh in the chat. Ghetto grocery.
Do you see what I wrote?
What does that mean?
Damn, damn, damn.
Ridiculous.
Anywho.
You made me blush. See this?
Oh, look at that.
We got a blusher. So
Anyway, guys,
yeah.
I think we all should go to bed.
You have to go to work.
No, we're gonna go play The Wolf Among Us.
Chapter 3.
I know. I'm gonna watch it at work.
I'm gonna watch.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah,
So I
go to
can't,
that
I can't even
Little
watch
Mermaid
it.
Club again. That's creepy.
But Joe, we
I
gotta
wanna
play.
see what
We gotta play our game, Joe, soon.
I know.
We how's that for YouTubers? Some people try to make money on YouTube. I get paid while I watch YouTube. Because my job lets me watch videos at it.
Man, I wish.
Ha-cha-cha. Not really. It's not much. Anyway, guys, I'm Delirious, and I think it's time to go. So let's do plugs and stuff like that. Sorry for anyone else who wanted to get in tonight, but it's getting
Yeah,
late.
sorry, Kari and Mac.
But next year we'll let you come back on, or show up tomorrow, and we'll be sure to get you on Twin Peaks. But Ashley, Joe, anything you want to plug? Especially where can we find that link for that game you were just talking about?
You can find us on Twitter at Drake Masters and
At @_Mrs. Davis,
Where-
and we'll have the link posted to Joe's YouTube channel where we've been streaming all of our games.
or you can like click on my little picture in the chat and
Yeah.
it'll probably take you to my YouTube channel and you can just like watch for it, or if you want to,
Click
subscribe
that subscribe button, click the little bell, get notifications.
They'll get the little bell. Yeah.
ding ding.
Ding that bell.
Hopefully it doesn't get exploded and land on you. That's for people who are caught up with Game of Thrones, which will be on soon. Cal, tell us all about it and what's up.
Oh yeah, so real quick before that, we have the Aftermath. It was on last night, so it's up on the website on the Kingslayer channel. And I sent you guys the report card, so whenever you guys can post that, it'll be on the Oddship channel website. But the Night's Watch is coming back because Game of Thrones is coming back. So Game of Thrones season 7 now, right? I'm guessing,
Yeah.
yeah, right? Yeah, premieres July 16th, so probably July 14th we'll be doing our recap. It's going to be a shortened recap, not as in-depth as we usually do every episode, but we're just going to do like a quick soft recap of the entire season, just probably focusing on the main characters and such, and we'll be introducing the Night's Box, which I've been giving away, like telling you guys each week what it's going to be in it, but we'll tell you how to win it that day, so tune in there, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
And we also, I have you'll probably be a big reveal as well on the premiere episode that I've been in the works with right now. So hopefully that gets done by then. That you guys don't even, Tom and Kimber don't know. I want you guys to be surprised by it too. Maybe Stannis will appear. No, not really. But
I mean, I'm all right. So while I'm scared, last time there was a reveal, it was a cloth of chloroform that Joe had in his hand.
What was that, Tom?
Nothing. So I'm Tom, co-creator of Odd Shape Channel. That's the thing you're watching right now. More specifically, you're watching the last episodes of American Odds this year. So me and Kimber are probably going to do a one-on-one recap for this season just for fun. And we're probably not going to be too nice. So if you want to watch that, in the vein of my Wonder Woman review that we did with, or I'm sorry, Joe and Ashley's Wonder Woman review that we did with them. Yeah, that's to look forward to. But check out oddshapechannel.com. That has all the upcoming links for everything and all the post links from everything else. And I try to keep it updated with all of our guest creators stuff. And that's it. I just joined this.
and don't forget tomorrow night, Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Most of our shows are usually at 9, 8 p.m. This gives me a little time tomorrow to get ready before work tomorrow. So other than that, you can tweet at me at Oddshaped Panel and this thing. And bye, Taylor. I'll talk to you later.
No.
Bye, everyone else too, not just the cat. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for stopping by.
Have a good night. I will see you guys
Bye.
tomorrow night.
Adios.